Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have the Volkswagen EV van being recalled, but is for a stupid reason, as usual. Now, this brought to us thanks to Emmett White, go over at Road and Track, and they say, quote, Volkswagen is recalling the ID Buzz for an unusual reason, a very wide third row bench. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is going after the electric throwbacks van seats in an effort to ensure seatbelt efficiency. Because, of course, there's laws upon laws upon laws upon laws when it comes to manufacturing vehicles. I always joke, they don't make cars for you and I, they make them for the government. Because that's one of the reasons they suck. Because of all the rules and regulations. Now, I'm sorry, I should put a visual disclaimer. You have to see the new EV Volkswagen minivan on the screen, which looks terrible. The only thing worse than that is their sales, which is quite abysmal to say the least. Now, going to the article, they say, quote, Volkswagen has just recalled what appears to be all of its US model ID Buzz. So that's not too bad, like 18. Now, they say the reason is sort of serious, albeit it's new to us. They say that this third row seat is just too wide, says the feds. The recall, which was submitted to the Federal Safety Watchdog Agency on April 23rd, explains that Volkswagen third row bench seat was designed with two designated seat positions that don't align with current seating surface width standards. So much bureaucracy, so much regulation. In simple terms, the third row is capable of holding 3 passengers, but only has 2 seat belts. Oh no. So they size these for their American buttocks, and now they're being punished for it. I'm only partially kidding. We do need to get our health together. But that's beside the point. They say that, quote, regulators seem to be worried about such large seats. Arrangement will lead to the temptation of putting a third person in between. God, this is stupid. Of course, this unbelted occupant is liable to be gravely injured in the event of a crash or injury. Volkswagen says the seating surface width error is a result of misinterpretation of a section of the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, which I can't help but think that book is larger than the U.S. tax code and probably just as corrupt and morally vacuous and mentally vacuous. Now, they say that, however, the manufacturer does note the owner's manual limits the number of passengers in electric van and the number of seat belts, which actually it would also be pretty uncomfortable. It's not like a bench seat where the seats are completely flat. These actually do have some bolstering so that it does look intuitively like it's for 2 people, albeit 2 white Americans, and you'd be pretty uncomfortable to try to sit in the middle. Now, they say that Volkswagen says its first round found out about the potential non-compliance issue in February and began investigation shortly after. In March, Volkswagen was conducting their FMVSS compliance testing with an external testing institute and confirmed the width of the third row seat was non-compliant by April 1st, which is a cruel joke because it's going to cost them money and some people might care, so it might hurt their brand a little bit. Now, they note that there have been no recorded field claims of safety issues stemming from the width of the third row. So, I'm sorry, we're going to show another angle of the vehicle, which, God, it looks so bad. Decades of hype about the new Volkswagen van and utterly disappointment, an overpriced, useless EV, which will depreciate like a rock. Worse than a Mercedes, I dare say. Now, they say the fix is a strange one, but relatively easy. Volkswagen says it will add a unpadded trim to limit the seating surface width of the third row bench. This will limit the ability of 3 passengers to squeeze there and make the ID Buzz comply with federal standards. The scope of this recall is small on paper. Oh, wow. Less than 6,000 units included, but a closer look at the ID sales figures reveals that it likely covers all of the U.S. market. Year-to-end sales figures show that 1,162 units were sold at the end of 2024. That's terrible. In terms of car sales, that is abysmal, to say the least. Now, they also know that with first quarter numbers from 2025, show the units being sold at 1,901, the total comes up to 3,063 recorded unit sales, leaving a delta of 2,754 units. It's certainly possible that the time span between March 31st and April 23rd yielded 2,574 sales. I don't think so. But we expect a majority of these are uncounted units at dealership inventory. Probably. Either way, it appears Volkswagen may be on the hook for updating the entire fleet of US ID Buzz models, which, yeah. And again, the Volkswagen CFO, I'm not sure why he did this publicly, but publicly he did say about 2 years ago, we have about, I don't know, 1 year ago, we have about 2 years left of viability as a brand. Again, Volkswagen Group, which has Porsche, Lamborghini, Ducati, and Audi, they're okay, but the Volkswagen brand specifically is the one that's doing terribly when it comes to sales, and many would argue reliability. And you have a recall, which is, again, I can't imagine how much of a pain in the rear it is to comply with all the federal BS standards when it comes to the automotive industry. But the fact they don't have someone, Johnny on the spot, and this is, Volkswagen for some reason is bragging about this vehicle. They're doing a lot of press behind it. I mean, whole marketing campaigns, one would think you put extra care and attention to what you consider to be something very important to your company. And yet, apparently not, as Volkswagen has to recall their ID buzz. So I gotta say, Volkswagen, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.